what's up, ladies and gentlemen? We back with another reaction. I'm Kellz.
I'm Sophia, the
Kellz
Kellz
reaction. Let them know what we react to today.
5 horror movies based on true terrifying events.
You already know horror movies is my favorite genre. I can't wait to get into this.
Same here.
We did started
Freaky Friday.
Creepy Spooky. What was it?
Creepy Spooky Friday.
Creepy Spooky Friday. That every Friday we drop like a scary movie, like not a scary video. A scary video. Basically, what we do, we react to the video at night, like at midnight. Turn on all the lights and just had a ring light going, and from there we just watch it.
But today we're just gonna watch this.
It's been a minute since we dropped one of those, but we're gonna get back on that. Alright, guys.
Alright, y'all. Let's get started. Hope it's scary. It's based on true events.
It said 5 horror movies based on true terrifying events. Shit, I can't wait to see this.
It's easy to sit back in the comfort of your own home or the cinema and watch a scary movie, knowing full well you can later tell yourself in bed that it was all just a film and didn't really happen. But what if you couldn't tell yourself that, because the movie was in fact based on true terrifying events? Well, here are 5 horror movies where that is actually the case. Psycho and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I was about to say Texas Chainsaw.
Most would have heard of the infamous Ed Gein, also known as the Butcher of Plainfield. But if you haven't, then you should know that a few movies have been based on this man. The 2 most popular being Psycho and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I will talk about together.
I like Texas Chainsaw.
It all started in Plainfield, Wisconsin, when for years neighbors of the small community had suspected something was just not quite right about Ed, and thought that strange things were going on at his property. Kids would mess around and see how close they could get to his creepy old farmhouse, and he was labelled as the village oddball, but was always considered as a harmless man.
Killer.
That was until people started going missing, including the deputy sheriff's mother.
Damn.
Gein was the first suspect, and his farm was searched, and the true evil was revealed. Amongst his possessions were 4 noses, 9 masks made from human skin, numerous decapitated heads, lampshades made from skin, bowls made from skin and skulls, lips being used as a pull on window blinds, leggings made from skin, and a belt made from nipples. Gein was arrested and later admitted to 2 murders, including the deputy's mother, who was found gutted like an animal in Gein's shop.
Wow.
All the other body parts were the result of Gein raiding the nearby cemeteries and digging up bodies late at night.
Oh my god.
Police further searched his home and said it was filthy and there was rubbish all over the house, except for a few boarded up areas, one of which was his dead mother's room. After his mother died, Gein was devastated, and this is thought to be the main cause of his crimes. Despite the truly filthy house, his mother's old room was eerily kept in a pristine condition, just as she left it. So when Alfred Hitchcock made Psycho, he based it on the very disturbing novel written by Robert Bloch, who lived within 35 miles of Gein's farm, and was aware of what had happened there. After Robert picked up the details of Gein's crimes, about Gein wearing clothing made from women's skin, so he could feel closer to his dead mother, Robert got the idea for Norman Bates and his obsession with his dead mother in the major hit movie. So, as well as Psycho, how was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre linked to Gein? Well, most of the movie sequels state inspired by true events. And although no single character is based on Gein, the family in the films who abduct passers-by, torture, then kill them, and use their body parts as decorations, is linked to Gein's crimes. And the Texas Chainsaw Massacre's skin mask is linked to Gein's mask made from female heads, and one of his victims, Mary Hogan, whose face was found in a paper bag in Ed's home. The horrors found in Ed Gein's home are up there as the most disturbing acts ever committed, and unfortunately, the small town of Wisconsin will forever be linked to those horrifying events, that I'm sure will continue to inspire future horror movies, books, and documentaries.
Brawler, it's time!
This name, fucking
I need it!
In 1977, Wes Craven released a movie
called
The Hills Have Eyes.
The Hills Have Eyes.
At the time, it enjoyed moderate success at the box office, and has become a cult classic horror movie, which sparked the remake that most of us will be familiar with in 2006, followed by 2 more sequels. The original and the 2006 Hills Have Eyes tells the story of a family on a road trip that becomes stranded in an atomic testing zone, miles from anyone and anything. But soon the family find out that the area is in fact inhabited by a deformed cannibalistic family, intent on making them their next prey. The film itself seems too far-fetched to be based on anything that did happen, but it is actually based on Alexander Sawney Bean and his family. Alexander was born a few miles from the city of Edinburgh, and later went on to become the head of a Scottish clan who lived with around 14 children and 32 grandchildren, all from incest. They all lived in a cave sometime during the 16th and 17th century, and had a complete lack of communication with the outside world. During this period, hundreds of people travelling through the area near this cave would often go missing, and Sawney Bean and his family were responsible for this. They would ambush the unsuspecting victims, rob and murder them, then take them back to their cave, where they would cut them up and pickle their limbs for future consumption. All in all, the family is thought to have killed and eaten over 1,000 men, women and children who wandered through their location. But it wasn't just the living they preyed on. It's reported that bodies from graveyards near the area were regularly dug up and the bodies were removed.
Wow.
Most were never found again, but one time 3 were apparently found hidden near the graveyard they had been taken from. It's said the bodies were in an undescribable state and had been dumped by the family, as they must have been unable to carry them back to the cave. The Beans' horrendous act carried on for around 25 years, until it finally came to an end when the husband of one of their victims managed to escape and alert the authorities. The word got all the way up to King James I himself, and he led an army to the family's cave, which was hidden during high tide, and they discovered the true horror of 25 years worth of filthy living and cannibalism.
It was so crazy.
They found body parts hung up like dried beef, pickled limbs, and masses of money and jewellery from their victims. Such outrageous crimes demanded an equally outrageous punishment. The men had their manhood cut off and flung into a fire. Their wives and children had their faces, hands and legs cut off and were left to bleed to death. And then they were all burned in several fires.
You could instant.
The whole family were considered mutant monsters due to the amount of inbreeding, and this is shown in the movie The Hills Have Eyes, along with a very similar storyline.
That's so crazy.
So that is the story behind the movie. Now, although some argue the family's existence due to a lack of factual documents, there are many records in notable publications to suggest the family did in fact exist.
32 grandchildren.
The 2011 film The Rite, starring Anthony Hopkins, tells the story of the son of a funeral director who has a lack of faith, so is advised to travel to Italy to take an exorcism course in hopes of strengthening his faith in Christianity. Whilst there, he witnesses exorcisms being performed firsthand, but is still not convinced until something takes over one of his mentors, and he is forced to perform an exorcism himself. If you think the film isn't scary enough, then the fact it's based on the Matt Baglio book, The Rite, The Making of a Modern-Day Exorcist, makes it even more terrifying. The book covers the believed real-life events of trainee exorcist Father Gary Thomas and his experiences of working and training in Rome. He was initially skeptical when he was sent to Rome to learn to become an exorcist, but this initial skepticism was soon replaced with the reality of evil, as he witnessed first-hand demonic possession. His mentor in Italy was Father Carmine, and during his apprenticeship, Father Thomas and he attended dozens of demonic battling rites. One particular incident he remembers was a lady called Lisa, who was brought in by a worried family members that were concerned about her violent outbursts. Father Thomas said he felt a huge presence in the room as he started to pray. Lisa's face started to distort, and she started speaking in a different language. She was hissing and spitting and taking on a strange look. Her eyes were rolling, and as Father Thomas laid his crucifix on her, she let out an excruciating scream. He placed his scarf on her, and she tried to slide away from it, until the father said, "That's enough for today." In the film, a similar sequence is played out by a woman who is possessed. She acts in a similar way, except she spits out metal nails. Father Thomas says he has never witnessed this himself, but it was told to him by another priest who apparently witnessed 7 black nails be vomited up by a possessed woman. Father Thomas acted as a consultant on the film The Rite, and admitted that like most movies based on true events, some things have been dramatized, but he said the exorcisms in the film were very accurate.
That's great.
When it was released in 1991, The Silence of the Lambs was an instant hit. It won a ton of awards, and for most people, it's one of their favourite horror movies of all time.
There used to be a lot of good movies.
It's the story of an FBI student who was assigned to interview Hannibal Lecter, a cannibalistic serial killer and former psychiatrist who could help in the pursuit of a serial killer who skins his victims. While the film's 3 main characters are actually based on real people, 2 of which committed some of the world's most heinous crimes. And here are the people who Silence of the Lambs writer Thomas Harris used for his inspiration for the book, which the movie was made of. Thomas Harris was able to study the FBI's newly established behavior science unit, and the unit was exploring psychological profiling to pursue killers. It was here where Harris looked at the possibility of a female profiler and met Pat Kirby. 3 years after he met her, Pat became the first female to join the behavior science unit, giving Harris the inspiration for Clara Starling of the same job role in Silence of the Lambs. Now he needed a killer who turned out to be Hannibal Lecter,
He did a good
an
job.
intelligent,
He
polite,
did.
and very manipulative killer that was inspired by Ted Bundy, the murderer, sadistic rapist, and necrophile who killed at least 36 people in the 1970s. Finally, the Silence of the Lambs needed one more character, Buffalo Bill, the fictional psychopath who chose larger ladies as his victims. He would trap them in a pit in his cellar and starve them, making them rub oil into their skin in preparation for when he killed them, so he could use their supple skin to make dresses for himself.
Oh,
It sounds
wow.
horrific and also sounds
Oh, that
similar
could be
to
a
Ed
damn
Gein's
dress.
crimes. Well, this character was based off Ed Gein. As you know, Ed would use the skin from dead females to make items, such as socks and a vest from the skin of a woman's torso, which is thought he would wear around the house pretending to be a
That dude
woman.
really has some issues.
The Shining. In 1983, horror author Stephen King checked into the Stanley Hotel in Colorado.
King.
He checked in for one night, and him and his wife were the only guests staying there.
He's
As you
also
can
a hard
imagine,
time
it's a
in the
huge
movie.
place, so being the only guest there is a scary thought.
It'd be so good.
They were booked into room 217, and King and his wife had the run of the hotel. As he was wandering the empty halls, he allegedly got the feeling that they were not alone after all. He said he encountered some ghostly children wandering around, and also witnessed a party in the ballroom attended by paranormal beings. King's feeling of seclusion while staying at the hotel, and how he believed silence could trick the mind, leading to paranoia, fear, and violence, was the inspiration behind the iconic horror novel The Shining, and subsequently the blockbuster movie. So let's look at the history of the Stanley Hotel. It was opened in 1909 by Flora and Freeland Oscar Stanley, and was and still is a secluded Grand Mountain resort. But although the Stanleys have
When you
since
go
long
visit it.
passed, it's
I
said
know,
they
right? We
never
should
actually
visit it.
left.
And I stay at night.
Mr. Stanley has been reported as
Wasn't
standing
it?
behind employees at the reception desk, and Mrs. Stanley is
Yeah, look
often
it up.
heard playing the piano in the hotel's music room. Just 3 years after the hotel opened, one of the housekeepers was apparently electrocuted during a lightning storm, and even though she wasn't killed, the room where it happened, number 217, has since been the subject of many paranormal
So
incidents.
217 is
It's
the-
thought that every room in the hotel has some sort of strange happenings though, from items moving on their own, lights turning on and off, and clothes being unpacked from
That's
suitcases.
what got stated.
And on the 4th floor of the hotel, the sound of children running and giggling can be heard. The large ballroom where Stephen King saw the paranormal party is also the place where many workers and guests have heard loud music and talking, only to find no one there when they have gone to investigate. Now, I know a lot of you are not fussed on ghost hunters, but in 2006 they caught an interesting piece of footage. That's really the best believed paranormal footage caught at the Stanley Hotel, so I can't help but show it. One of their main investigators, Jason, was staying in the room 401, which is infamous for its activity, while a camera in the room caught a glass cracking and breaking
Remember
by
that movie
itself,
1401?
and also a cabinet door opening and then closing. But what's interesting about it closing is that it latches shut, which is something the team and the hotel workers said is just not possible. Take a look.
I just got a Brazilian wax, and then I made passionate love on my.
It's 5:30. I'm figuring I'm gonna stay asleep.
Oh, yeah, look. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, here.
As you can see, I'm still trying to wake up at this time. Not really sure what's happened.
Listen, I'm not sure what happened. This glass actually broke.
The glass broke?
That's crazy.
There's a piece.
Like you
Wow.
said, get the fuck
I
out.
heard the closet open. Closet door is open. I'm gonna put the camera on the table next to me so you guys know. All right. Oh man.
You want to see that again?
Yeah.
You saw
Oh
that?
my god.
That's amazing.
My hair's
break the
standing
glass
on
and
it.
close the door.
He said that's amazing.
Did you hear the door latch?
Yeah.
They know they heard that.
Anytime you want to head
Friday
upstairs,
You can't wait till I
try
was asleep.
to shut that door and make it latch, feel
It
free.
won't do it?
It won't do it. I tried to slam that door as hard as I can because I'm here to try to solve what's going on. But you can turn the handle and put it in and let it loose, but you shut it.
You don't hear that
swing it
latch.
shut as hard as you want. So
That's
definitely caught my
crazy.
attention because I know that door doesn't latch.
Pretty strange, and that's why the hotel is said to be one of the most haunted places in America. But although the hotel was Stephen King's inspiration and his vision for The Shining,
was good.
the actual film was not filmed at the Stanley Hotel. Much to the disappointment of King, most of it was filmed in a studio in London, with the exterior shots taken at Timberline Lodge in Oregon. But Stephen King did return to the hotel in the 1990s and filmed a mini-series that he felt was more visually true to the book. And if you do
They
ever
probably had
check
some
into
weird
the Stanley,
activities with him.
both the film and the mini-series can be
I heard
viewed
it
on
happened
a
last time,
non-stop
I was
loop
sick.
on the hotel's channel 42,
Oh, that was The Exorcist.
if you are brave enough to watch it in your room. So that's 5, well
I'm brave
technically
enough.
6 horror movies that are based on true events and people. Now, although some are only loosely based on true stories, it's a terrifying thought nonetheless. If you're wondering why a few movies didn't make it, such as The Exorcist, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and Annabelle, that's because I've already talked about them in previous videos. Thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying the creepy video.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Some of them that he mentioned I already knew, but
Yeah,
it
he
is.
just give me the history of it.
It is crazy. You be like, it is a movie. Nah, some of the stuff that in these scary movies be actually true events. And it's like you just gotta be a Hollywood fan. Like you be like, oh, that's a good movie. That's a good movie. Don't have it happen in real life. Like The Conjuring. Some of the stuff that happened in Conjuring is true. But you know, I just go home and be like, that was a good movie.
Yeah, because like it's not the same till it happens to you, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I feel bad to the people that happen to, but at the same time, the people that they happen to, they baby strong. You know, they ain't let it get the best of them.
Some of them die, some of them still make it.
Some of them, right? Like the girls from Conjuring, I think it was it 2?
Yeah, the
They wrote the
Conjuring.
book and everything. The daughter wrote the book, and she was talking about it. You know.
I gotta find what hotel that Shine is, though. I gotta find that.
I think they said the name was the Standing Hotel, something like that.
Okay.
You can definitely look that up and check it out.
Yeah, but all these are good. Like the Texas Massacre. Yeah, that was one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
It's so
that's
creepy.
crazy. Yeah, they're
But
crazy.
that does happen like when you have incest, your kids come out a little disformed.
You're not supposed to be sleeping with your own sister or
Like the
brother.
chromosomes just don't match together.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
it
saying?
don't. No.
It's just they too equal.
But
I
people
don't even know
don't.
who would have sex with their children. That's just crazy.
I know that's crazy. I can't look at my own child in a sexual way. Like I
Or
wipe.
your brother and sister.
Yeah, like, I wipe your butt. Like to kill you, wipe your nose, and then I'm looking at you sexual. That's
He
kind
had,
of.
what was it, 14 kids and then 32 grandchildren. That's like a lot of sex.
He be with his own kids and his grandchildren. They probably was with that. They probably was all sleeping with each other.
That's what I'm saying, like brothers and sisters were together and stuff like that, yeah.
Cause they was stuck in that cave. Was knowing.
And that was they could do. And that was back in like the 1800s.
Like that's my brother and my husband. Like, what?
They probably couldn't even talk right because they disformed. Ugh.
It's crazy.
And they all like taking the skin of people and making them into clothes. I don't know how you do that.
I know, right? It's
You
crazy.
gotta let the skin dry or something. I don't know. Shit, I'm not a psycho killer. I don't know. Anything else you want to
I
say?
guess they look at the same way we take the skin of animals and
Oh yeah, sheep and
yeah, red
dogs and stuff. Yeah, people crazy.
Alright guys, it's the end of this reaction. I'm
I'm
Kellz.
Sophia, the
Kellz
Kellz
Squad channel. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. Also turn on your notification bell. Ding, ding, ding. So every time you drop a new video, you would know. Alright guys, we see you in the next reaction. Peace.